Now, if you're after a 4x4 like the electric Land Rover I drove earlier, but don't have bags of cash, then try one of these machines instead, our cheapskate alternatives.
Tonka toy styling, the ability to drive through war zones, and indestructible engines.
And the best bit is that they start from just £3,000. My cheapest choice is a 20-year-old Land Rover Defender. First, a test drive.
This machine's roots date back to 1945, and this particular model was first seen in 1983, showing that Land Rover clearly subscribed to the "if it ain't broke, don't fix it" school of design. For £3,000, you can get one from the late 1980s or early 1990s with a choice of two engines, a 3.5-litre V8 petrol or the more economical 2.5-litre turbo diesel like this one. There's nothing particularly comfortable about a Defender, and the ergonomics are, well, they were well and truly forgotten. It took me a couple of minutes to actually find the accelerator. The seating position isn't supportive in any way. It is pretty basic, but there is a certain charm about that. At this point, I'd normally give you some performance figures, but there's no point with this car. People do not buy it for its 0 to 60 time. It does have 111 brake horsepower and almost 200 pound-foot of torque, though, somewhere. Where it does outperform other cars, though, is when it comes to depreciation. Buy it, look after it well, and you'll get the same money back at the end of the day.
Defenders are notoriously tough, but can suffer from rust.
Underneath the body, the chassis can have some serious corrosion, so get something sharp and pointy and give everything, especially the sills, a good prod to make sure it's solid. A new chassis can cost as much as the car at £3,000. Also, an excess of this checkered plating can be a telltale sign of rust lurking underneath.
These 2.5-litre TDI engines can do high miles if looked after, but cam belts need changing every 60,000 miles, so check the history to make sure it's been done. The Defender is a bargain Brit, but spend £5,000 more and you can get a bulletproof German.
This is another motoring legend. The G-Wagen was first produced in 1979, and just like the Land Rover, it's barely changed over time. It is more refined and less agricultural than the Landy, but it's much more like a car to drive. It's quieter, it's more comfortable, and it's more luxurious too. It's also got twice the power and a dollop load more torque, so the engine is a lot more responsive. And the best bit is that you can pick one of these up for around £8,000.
But there are things to watch out for.
Corrosion is the main issue, so check around the wings and also the rear light clusters for any rust bubbles. Also, pull up the carpets, check for any damp, and round the front, check where the windscreen wipers meet the bodywork for any signs of rust there. A few simple repairs can quickly add up to a few £100s.
Corrosion can cause a leaky fuel tank too. A reconditioned one is £400.
When you're on a test drive, check for any vibrations or wobbles through the steering, the suspension and the brakes. Hard off-road use can prematurely wear the bushes, the mounts and the drive shafts, and a new drive shaft will cost you £500.
The G-Wagen is an iconic car for a bargain price. But up your budget and you could have something absolutely off the hook. The Hummer H2.
Yes, I know. I can't believe it either. But the ultimate symbol of American supersized culture can be had for the price of a Ford Focus. Nothing can match the sheer road presence of one of these. Under the bonnet is a 6.2-litre V8 with almost 400 brake horsepower. So whilst you get all the benefits of a tank, people move out of your way immediately, you can also keep up with traffic. At a price though, 16 miles to the gallon on average. I love the fact that it is so over the top. And on a wide, sweeping country English road, it doesn't seem too massive. but go through small villages and you really are amazed at how anything can actually squeeze past you on the other side. After a while, you sort of forget what car you're in because it's so comfortable, lazy and easy to drive until you come to a corner and then you really remember what you're driving.
To avoid bills as big as the Hummer itself, there are a few things to look out for.
First, check the wheel bearings by spinning the wheels. Listen for any grumbles and feel for any side-to-side movement. A new wheel bearing will cost you £250.
While you're here, you want to check the condition of the tyres. A set of 4 will set you back £1,000.
Finally, a big car needs big mirrors, and a common error is that people pull these in by hand instead of using the electric switch, and a replacement mechanism will cost £500.
These gargantuans offer some of the electric Defender's off-road skills and hero status, and instead of being a prototype, you can actually buy them yourself.